Hey guys, Xavier Williams with Victory Performance Training. I'm your host for the Victory Performance Podcast. Welcome to episode number 2. Today we're going to be talking about longevity. Longevity within our sport, right? Grappling, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, or MMA, kickboxing, Muay Thai, boxing. These are all brutal sports on your system. A lot of fun to compete in, a lot of fun to watch. But when you really look back and you look at your system, you look at your body and how it's functioning, there's a lot of wear and tear on it. Today, I want to talk about how we can continue to have longevity in this sport that I'm sure that we all love. I started doing this sport 3-ish years ago. Well, jiu-jitsu, that is. Wrestling, I started when I was probably 15. And 15. I was a freshman in high school. So I've been doing that for half my life. I'm 30 now. And I fell in love with it immediately. I got to practice. I'll never forget. I got to practice, and my coach set me up with probably the best guy that I was on our team at the time. He was a little heavier than me. I was a small guy. My coach grabbed me because I was so small. He was one of my teachers. He grabbed me and asked me to join the wrestling team because they needed a 103-pounder, and I was like 100 pounds wet. So I said I didn't want a bad grade, so I said yeah. Joined, fell in love with it. So anyways, he set me up with probably the best guy on the team. And immediately I went in for a shot. We were learning some stuff, and my teammate got an underhook on me, hiked me up, put me over his hip, boom, straight to the mat. He looked at me and goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, man. I didn't really mean to throw you," kind of reflexes. Probably just wanted to have fun and mess with the new kid. But I popped right back up and I was like, teach me that right now. I need to know that. That was really cool. So immediately I fell in love with the sport, and I would just put all my time and energy into it. I played other sports growing up as well, but once I started doing wrestling, that was it. I didn't want anything else. All I wanted to do was be on the mat. So the passion for grappling has always been deep within me. And over the years, I competed for Bellevue Christian High School, ended up taking 8th place at state my senior year. Went off to wrestle in college at Grace Harbor College and Grand Canyon University, and came back to my high school actually and was the associate head coach, basically assistant coach. I did that for about 7 years, 7 seasons. It was a lot of fun. I loved it. It was definitely something that I will always cherish deep in my heart. Over those years, though, my body definitely felt the effects of wrestling. You might see I got this big neck, but there was a time where I was getting head snapped and everything. You don't just get a big neck just because. You get a big neck from getting pounded on. And so I was getting head snapped and thrown around in college especially, and I ended up herniating a disc in my neck. C6, C7, herniated it, and it was bad. Like it hurt so bad. I think I was about 20, maybe 22 at the time when that happened. And I remember when it happened, I started moving around and my neck just started feeling really tight. I tried to bench press. I was in the gym. I tried bench pressing, and I could push my left side up, couldn't push my right. And I was like, what the heck is going on here? There was only like a 35 or a 45 on each side. This should be easy. But it felt way harder than it should have. Then I had a kid that I was coaching. He yelled my name and I turned to look, and he's over my left shoulder, and I got about here and I couldn't move any further. My head was stuck and I had to slowly look over my shoulder. It was rough. I went to bed that night thinking, I'm young, I'm 22, I'll bounce back. Woke up the next day, still felt it. And honestly, it took me forever to fall asleep. I had to lay in the fetal position, on my stomach, in the fetal position all night, keeping my head tucked underneath me. And I slept like that the next night also. And that's when I was like, okay, I know I'm young. I should have bounced back by now. Something's wrong. Went to the doctor, did the x-ray, herniated disc. Yikes. So that's kind of my introduction into injury. That was probably that was my first real injury. I had some rolled ankles, some sprained ankles and stuff, a couple concussions growing up and wrestling. But that was my first like, oh, this is some like real damage to my tissue injury. Um, and that recovery road, actually, I would never take it back. I'm very grateful to have that recovery, and have to learn how um, to work through that, because I think that gives me a little more empathy and understanding when it comes to my clientele that comes in and they're dealing with certain things. If I had never been injured before, I wouldn't really understand what it would be like and how frustrating that is, to have something that you love taken from you because of an injury. Um, it was hard for me to get back into wrestling. It was hard for me to start competing again. Um, Even when it was better, I still felt the residual of that for a while. Um, but it was cool because as I started getting deeper into exercise and deeper into learning how the body functions and how it works together and the synergies within the body, I learned how to use that to help um, my body feel better, for me to be actually able to compete at a higher percentage than I normally would. You know, a lot of times you hear a lot of fighters, they're going into their camps, they get out of camp, getting ready for their fight, and they're going their fight and they're saying, man, I feel about 75%, 80%, like that's good for me right now. There's always going to be some aches and pains and some injuries or minor injuries or whatever that you're going to get during camp. But if I can get 80, 85%, I'll be good. But what if we can get you to 100%? What if we get you to near 100%? And that was what really drove me into what I do now. I want to see people do this sport or whatever sport they're in, whether it is the wrestling, the jiu-jitsu, the kickboxing, the Muay Thai, or put it all together when you're in MMA. I want to see you do it for as long as you possibly want. Like I said, I'm 30 now. When I'm 50 and I have children who are getting into wrestling and jiu-jitsu, I want to be able to be right there with them and get on the mat and train with them and roll with them and not have to worry about my back or my neck or my shoulders or my knees from all these years of abuse. Like, no, I want to be able to say, yeah, I'm ready to go, young buck. All right, let me show you how we do this. That's what I really want to do. I'm passionate about this sport, and I want to pass it on to the generation, especially my kids below me whenever I have them. And so that was my thought process going into creating Fighters Academy. Of course, there's the fun part with the athletic development where we can get guys, stronger, more powerful, increase their endurance, their cardiovascular performance, all that stuff, all the fun numbers, all the fun like video clips and stuff I share. Of course, that's all fun. We love doing that, and it's great. And you definitely see the results of that when people step in the ring or on the mat. But the stuff, kind of like the behind the scenes, to make sure that we can do that stuff. A lot of the guys that come in here, we start off doing the assessment, right? And I think we talked about that in the last episode. If you haven't checked that out, interviewed George Collins, a good friend of mine, and one of the guys that's in here with us during Fighters Academy. Anyways, I think we talked about the assessment on that episode, but it's an in-depth head-to-toe assessment where we're checking a wide range of different things, from posture, joint position tests, range of motion. We're checking a bunch of different types of call them screens, global tests, just to kind of see where someone's body is at and how their body is working with itself, right? If I do one thing to your system, how does it affect the next piece of the system? Because I believe that the body is this connected thing, right? If we affect one piece of the puzzle, it's going to change something else somewhere else in the body. I've seen it plenty of times with the guys that have come in here from when I first started until now. It's a common thing, and that's why I really like to look at the whole body as a whole. Right. A lot of times you go to a doctor or a PT or something and you're like, yeah, I got this knee pain going on. It's my knee. And they're like, okay, well, he said he's got a knee thing. So let's look at his knee, because his knee is the thing that's hurting. When it's like, man, but what else is going on? Right? The knee pain that you're feeling is like a check engine light. Right? If I was going to my car and I turn my car on and that light pops up, that first thought is just, oh man, what's this going to cost me, right? I don't want to. I don't want to have to deal with this. This could be a big thing. I don't know. It's an alert, right? The light is an alert. You don't know what it means exactly, but like, okay, well, something's going on. But if all I do is fixate on that light, and let's say I put some tape over the light, oh, I can't see it, right? It's like a Band-Aid. I can't see it. I think we're good. But if I ignore that, if I just put the tape over and ignore that what the light's trying to tell me, what's going to happen to my car? Well, I'm going to be on the side of the road at some point calling AAA saying, hey, I'm going to need a tow, right? No, that light is telling you, hey, something is going on under the hood. Check your engine, right? And so if we have this knee pain going on, what's going on under the hood? Is there something going on in the ankle or the foot? Something going on in the hip that's affecting what's going on in the knee, right? Because the knee, honestly, guys, the knee is a dumb joint. It's going to do whatever the top and the bottom says. All right, whatever my ankle's going to do, whatever my hip's going to do, my knee's going to just say, I'm along for the ride. Here we go, right? And so if we can get some better foundation or some more suspension or stability up top, can we affect the knee, right? And so that's kind of how I look at the body. Not to say that, don't go see your doctor or PTs are bad or whatever. But what's going on within the whole system? I like to get a global view of what's going on with the system. So, that's kind of what we do with the assessment. That's what I was talking about, the assessment. And that's kind of when, as I got into this business, I really was passionate about just helping everybody, right? But then as I started getting deeper into grappling, got into jiu-jitsu, that world just got opened up to me. And my passion now is to help the people within the community that I'm in as well. So with the guys that are here in Fighters Academy, yeah, we went through this whole assessment and got that locked in, so that I could see what's going on with them, so they can, have some exercises to do. I'll have the packet and get them going, and they're moving better, and they're doing the exercises that are promoting them to function better, right? If you can move better, I feel like you feel better. It's kind of my thought process on that. So as they're moving better, they're feeling better. And then from there, we start to build this foundation, right? We've put the pieces together and we're building this foundation to build off of. All right. Have you guys ever heard about, building a house on sand, right? If I build a house on sand and some waves come in, what's going to happen to the foundation of my house? It's going to wash away, right? The house might look beautiful, right? I might have a 3-story, 5-bedroom, 3-bath, marble floors, vaulted ceilings. The place is beautiful, gorgeous, 4 or 5 car garage, got the Lambo in there. But if there's just a sand foundation, the second anything comes in, water, wind, what's going to happen to it? It's going to crumble. But if I have a house that's built on a solid foundation, cement, stone, and then I build from there up, what's going to happen? It's going to be able to withstand the weather. It's going to be able to withstand the waves crashing into it. And that's what I want to do for everybody else that comes in here. We're building foundations so that we can then get to the performance, right? I want to build the nice house. I want to have the house be built, but I got to make sure that we have this foundation. And that's really what's going to have longevity for us, right? You see these houses that have been around for, decades and decades and decades and decades. And they say, what? It's got good bones. The house has good bones, right? It might need to be fixed up a little bit, but it's got good bones. That's that foundation, right? And I want to take the good bones and take the foundation and build something beautiful with you guys. And that's kind of my thought process as I'm going through with each individual guy that comes into Fighters Academy. This is something that I've been working on for, coming up on 2 years now. Just building out this program and building out how we operate here. And I'm filming this right after we just had, 6 or 7 guys in here on a Thursday. and it was fun, man. Everyone had new programs today, so it was busy. I was jumping around and helping this guy, helping this guy, helping this guy. But at the end of the day, I was able to look back and see everybody there. And guys, everybody I talked to, I was like, "Hey man, how you feeling today?" Man, this pain that I was feeling in my hip, not feeling it anymore. I'm feeling more stable. One of the guys used the word more reliable, which I thought was a really good way to put it. We had a check-in table session today. I was able to get him on the table, kind of check in on the things that we've been doing, make sure that we are progressing him the way we want to progress him. He's saying that he's feeling better, he's moving better, he's moving weights better, but I also like to use the table as a way of like, okay, so what's next? What piece are we maybe neglecting or not seeing or needs to also catch up? What's the next piece? And so we use that table session as a way to prep for the next phase. And so I was able to look at him, and I was looking at some adduction, some hip adduction, so bringing his leg in. I was checking some of that earlier, and it was a little shaky. I could move it a little bit. It was kind of hard for him to hold. And by the end of the session, I checked it again, and he used that word reliable. I pushed on. I was like, "How'd that feel?" He goes, "It feels reliable." I was like, "Man, I like that." Our bodies should feel reliable, because on the opposite end, that means that it was what? It was feeling unreliable, that he couldn't rely on his body to hold or move him or carry his weight in a safe manner. But then he could flip that around and now say, "Oh, well, I feel stable. I feel powerful. I feel more balanced. My body feels more reliable." And that's what longevity is. I want you guys to have reliability in your body, that you can go out and take it into these extreme states of, an arm bar or, a Kimura, or getting punched and withstanding the forces coming in and be able to absorb that force coming in. And, guys, obviously I can't stop every injury, right? I'm not going to be able to stop, things that are going to happen, right? But if we can start to progress your body so that injury is less likely, that's the biggest thing, right? I'm not going to be able to protect against CTE. It's not going to happen. I mean, you guys all probably have seen the clip going around of Conor McGregor's guy winning their first tough fight. I'm not helping with that, man. Double fist, double jumping hammer fist to the face. There's going to be some damage there that, exercise is just not gonna help. But as far as your body's ability to withstand going to the extreme ranges, your body's ability to withstand forces coming at it and being able to absorb and keep moving, that's something we're definitely working on here at Fighters Academy, so that you can have a long, healthy career in your sport. Which kind of leads me into my next thing. I got this idea recently. A lot of the guys that come in here, I've met them from my gym. I go to Gracie Baja in Kirkland, and then Kaiju Kickboxing and MMA. And so a lot of the guys that I have in here are people that I know personally from my gyms. But I want to have a more personal relationship with people outside of. I know there's a lot of people that follow me, that I also follow, that I haven't actually got to meet you. I haven't actually had a conversation with you or been able to explain one-on-one or answer any questions that you have. And so in the next coming month, this video is coming out in August, but in September, I want to have a time for everyone to come in to my gym and be able to sit down and ask questions. I'm going to do a little talk about, more about this longevity stuff, more about how you should be training and exercising for our sport, so that you have that longevity, some things to be thinking about, and here to answer any questions for you guys. So stay tuned for information on that. That should be coming up here pretty soon. I'll be kind of plugging that a little bit more. But if you guys have any questions, please feel free, reach out to me on Instagram, Xavier_the_kiln. You can find me there. If you are at Gracie Baja or Kaiju Kickboxing, just grab me after practice or before practice or whenever, and we can talk more. But this is something that I want to change the community with. I want to make sure that when people think about Washington fighting, grappling, they think, wow, these guys are strong. Their bodies are reliable. They're conditioned, and they don't get hurt. They keep moving. They have a robust system, and it's hard to knock them down. So if you guys are interested in anything we've been talking about in this podcast, or maybe the podcast before, reach out, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.